So if you were here at the very beginning, I don't know if it was John or who, they were saying something like, well, we'd really like to thank the presenters for coming down here for their knowledge base and, peace. And I'm thinking, oh, that is so cute that he thinks I'm qualified. I think you guys are going to be more qualified than a lot of this stuff that I'm going to be talking about. But I'm going to talk about creating a Go kit or a Go bag that's right for you. Yes, you can go to the store and put your good hard-earned money down on buying a Go kit. But the problem is that was someone else's idea. And so, you get what you pay for, right? And if that is good, then that's fine. I also want to acknowledge that I've only been a ham radio operator since 2015. So I'm a newbie compared to some of these people here. And by the age demographics, I think I'm pretty young, too. And so I stand in awe at the amount of expertise that is sitting in this room, because I know that that you guys have a lot more, and ladies have a lot more experience than me. So let me first of all say that I took my sources from a lot of different sources. I'm the type who likes to study and create things based on someone else's mistakes. I do not want to reinvent the wheel. I do not want to make the same mistake twice. So John Jacobs, you'll see if you've been to the antenna, the MCOM's antenna, you'll see a lot of similarities in some of these slides. I'm going to further what John is said and include other things, especially Dan O'Connor. I've spent hundreds of hours in front of the YouTube looking at how other people did their Go kits. And the thing that I was looking for is not particularly the Go kit itself, but why they built what they did. Okay, that is a thing that interests me. So I also recently saw a couple videos from Jason, KM4ACK. He's a YouTuber, great channel. He puts a new spin on it, and I'm going to include that in this presentation as well. So let's talk about the definition of a Go kit. A Go kit is nothing more than a bag or a group of items grouped together, right, to fulfill some purpose. Since it is something that is organized to fulfill a purpose and that you are putting it together, this means that the Go kit can be as unique as you are. And that's what I want to focus on, creating a Go kit that works for you and not for somebody else. So I always ask myself, consequently, you should be asking yourself, what is my purpose? Okay, what is it that I'm trying to do, to accomplish? What are my operating goals? So that's what I'm going to be thinking about throughout all of this construction. So let's talk about the purpose first. Come on. Okay, so this DCC conference is kind of built around emergency communications, right? And so I'm going to actually focus around MCOMs. But there's other types of MCOMs that you may be dealing with. RACES, Utah Dam, CERT, FEMA, your church, your local municipality, whatever that is. I would really like to know why this is not cooperating. Okay, is it for a personal use? I know a lot of people are part of Jeep clubs, or they go backpacking. They like to go camping with their kids. Boy, there's a lot of reasons to have communications, right? And so maybe you want to create a Go kit that just collects all your stuff because you have a lot of stuff and you want to organize it. So within the area of emergency communications, I'm going to define what my mission is. So I need to understand, and I need to understand my goal. My purpose is to get every message that I handle to its intended recipient. If I'm relaying for somebody, like in the case of the North Carolina disaster down there, we had a lot of ham radio operators that were just go-betweens, right? Relays that were calling on their cell phone because they had cell service, but they were talking to ham radio operators in the disaster zone that trying to get the word out, okay? So, and this is where it's critical that your message that you're handling is done accurately, the minimal fuss possible. If it's less complicated, it's more apt to arrive intact, right? If you get a complicated 3-paragraph message you're trying to relay, forget it, right? That's why the forms that we use for the ARRL messagegram, right? There's a certain amount of characters that you're allowed to send, right? Or words. So that helps in keeping the message intact. Also, I need to understand what what success looks like. Okay, was the message delivered as it was given to me? Did the person receiving the message that I sent receive the same message? Okay, how many of you remember in kindergarten where you sat around in a circle and the teacher whispered something very simple to the first student and asked that student to go ahead and repeat that, and the message that the last student, which really on a lot of these, and I've done this with adults too, the circle doesn't have to be very big. It could be 3 or 4 people in the circle, and the message that comes up is completely different. Right? And so, did the person receiving the message get the same message that I received? So, I must be adequately prepared to handle my assignment so that I can keep focused on the job at hand. Those are 3 success criteria that I need to understand. My mission, what success is, and how am I going to do that? So, going to an NCOM assignment, you need to take into account a lot of things. The current state of affairs. What type of radio equipment will I need? How about power sources? Can I go to the EOC and plug in, or will I be out in the field and have to rely on my own power? What about clothing and personal gear? Am I going to have to feed myself? Do I have enough water with me? How about PEP stuff? How about when I have to go to the bathroom? All these things need to be taken into account before you go out. And let me tell you something. Yes, sir? I'm sorry? Medications. Any medication that you have, absolutely. Sunglasses, the list goes on and on. Only you know what that is, right? So I need to be able to be prepared and take these things into consideration, including any additional information that I need. There's a lot of times when we need specialized training. As a matter of fact, we heard in one of the classes, I've been through so many of them, I can't remember who said what. And this is why I'm glad I'm the very last, because you're going to remember my presentation. So do I need any specialized training? That is going to be important. How am I going to get to my assignment? Okay, is there transportation available? We're all preparing for the 7.5 earthquake. Okay, do you realize that the roads are not going to look the same as they are today after the earthquake? Just curiosity is striking me. How many people have been in at least a 7.5 earthquake? 1, 2. I've been in 2 myself, and we have just a small group, right? That is something you don't forget. Things change after a major event like that. My whole world was turned upside down. I've been through a 7.5 and a 7.4, which happened to be 1 week apart, exactly 7 days. And reality set in. This is why I do what I do, okay? Because I want to prepare my neighbors for the big one, because unfortunately I know what's coming, okay? And the roads that you see out there may not be there, okay? So you have to identify any transportation issues, consequently hazardous zones. The list goes on and on. There's also something else you need to keep in consideration. The information that you're getting, how accurate is it? Okay, are you going to be walking into a trap, right? So having your Go Kit assembled ahead of time will help you be prepared for when the call out comes. Think through each possible assignment that you might have. Some people do nothing but just nets on Sunday. That's one type of Go Kit, which may just consist of an HT. Other people do the Salt Flats 100, right? That's a completely different Go Kit because you're relying on external power. You're going to be there for a number of hours, and so the Go Kit is going to be different. So that's the type of thing that you need to consider before you're creating your Go Kit. Also, the type of incidents that you could have, that we have these disasters. There's natural disasters. I really wish that button would work. Let me try this. Okay, we have natural disasters, including the earthquake that's on its way. We don't know when, but it'll get here. How about wildfires? A lot of parts of the nation are dealing with that. Severe winter storms. How many people have not been in a severe winter storm when you're living in Utah, right? They happen all the time. Then there's flooding. So, question for you. How many people remember the 1985 flood down State Street? Wasn't that amazing? But flooding is a very real possibility and happens all the time. How about a hurricane or tornado? There's the KSL's report right there. Yes, tornadoes happen. They can happen anywhere. Some of them more severe. Fortunately, the Salt Lake City tornado was, I think it was like a F2, something like that. But it wasn't, I've been through an F5 when I was in Tennessee, and that's another game changer, right? When you see this cloud that is just wiping out everything that it's touching, you know. Things you don't forget. The pandemic also is another incident. There's also, disasters and incidents, man-made incidents. We have the terrorist attack. We have mass casualties that could be the same thing. Search and rescue operations may require you to go out there. Multi-vehicle pileups, aircraft crashes. Remember that an airplane doesn't have to go down at the airport. It can go down on any I-15 corridor or it doesn't matter. Airplanes will come down when they need to come down. Many of them, they're just picking the less bad location, right, where they're landing. So that could be an issue. A train derailment, that we have a lot of key train elements here in Salt Lake County and all the rest of the counties, for example, that's not only dealing with trains, but it could tie up other parts, other transportation methods, and it also depends on what they're carrying, which, well, now we don't have too much oil spills in the Great Salt Lake, thank goodness, but other people do. The point is, each part of the U.S., each part of the county, each part of Utah has their own way of dealing with things. And here's what I was referring to, the hazmat incident. It could happen we get a lot of trains going out of Dugway. There's no telling what they're carrying there. That is all, there's always a potential of a disaster, right? So, also, public service events. How many people, and please, I want to see everybody's hand. How many people have done a public service event? Okay, that's a beautiful sight. If you want to learn ham radio, you do a public service event, okay? Talking on the net, yes, it's good, and that's where you need to start. That's great, go for it. But doing public service events, doing parades, field day, any time when you get a lot of people coming together, that is, you're going to learn a lot more. In particular, the public service events where, like with field day, generally not a lot of people are going to get hurt. But if you're doing a Wasatch 100 where you have runners that are going between aid station to aid station, there's very real chance that something will happen, right? The problem is you don't know what is going to happen, right? So going out on public service events, you learn to think on your feet and think outside of the box, because a lot of times it's not on that 3x5 card on what you need to do, right? So anyway, go to events. The Get on the Air events are also another way of doing it. There's also types of assignments that you may have to be called upon. So you may be a base station. You may work with the incident commander, with your EOC, with the hospital. Could be a field portable station, at a rest station or an aid station. That may require a different type of kit than a mobile station, a mobile command post, a shadow on a race director. That's a very common one. A relay station. There's also modes of communication that you need to think about. So we have tactical voice comms, that UHF, VHF, and HF. That's kind of the pretty common. Digital traffic message using a packet. We do that on a lot of our events. Could be live video, could be HF requirements, and it might be the old tried and true, the last way of getting a message across is by running it over to that person, right? Okay. Also, you need to consider the length of the assignment. So, is it going to be a short stay? Is it going to be a few hours? Is it going to be overnight? Here's an example of a complete Go kit, an HT Go kit, that has everything that is available for that person to be pretty well comfortable for a 24-hour stint. Well, okay, so what happens if it's longer than 1 or 2 days? What happens if you're working the Salt Flats 100 and you volunteered for aid station 1 and aid station 14? So the aid station 1 is the first aid station, and aid station 14 is the last aid station before it gets to the finish line. And it was 56 hours straight without sleep. And I'll do it again because it is such a fun event to do. But I had to prepare for it. I had to take the equipment that I needed to be able to be successful. Here's an example, and this is exactly what I take with me all the time. Here's my Go kit. And also, remember, Go kits not only assume your radio, but also supporting kits, go bags, things that'll make you, okay, which includes water and the other. I saw this in a presentation, and I absolutely loved it. I'm building these modular kits, and we're going to talk a little bit more about modularity in a little bit. But this, you know, you need to decide what kind of Go kit, how long you're going to be. Now, there's something that you need to understand. Your location will probably be without power. Again, we're thinking MCOMs, okay? Your location will be without power, heat, water, phone service. You'll probably not be housed in the Waldorf Astoria. Okay, I'm sorry, the Hilton may be close to you. You could be in the parking lot, okay? And so that's what you're planning for, right? So as an emergency communicator, you must provide your own gear, your own equipment, and anything to help you become comfortable. There's not a rule, and I've checked it, in the FCC database that says ham radio operators need to be uncomfortable while doing their job, okay? So, because that is not a rule, I'm going to take things with me that will make me comfortable, okay? And that includes, if you're taking medication, you better have that medication with you, right? If you're used to doing things, there's no reason why you can't include that. So, let's talk about goals of operating. What are some of the things that I, in my MCOM's mind, am thinking I need to do? Well, it needs to be easy deployable. Easy. Keep it simple. Easy. I need to get on the air. I need to stay on the air. I need to be an effective communicator. And I need to have fun. You're probably not going to have a lot of fun in an actual grid down event, but you can have fun practicing, okay? That's why these public service events are around. So let's talk about the actual Go kits in what I'm going to be thinking in my mind on how to create my Go kit. I'm going to think field expedient equipment. I'm going to think modularity. I'm going to think portability. I'm going to make sure that my equipment is tested, and we're going to go through each one of those. I'm going to make sure that the Go kit is organized, and I need to understand my Go kit. Each one of those is very critical, and let's talk about modularity first. Now, it might be that, and hopefully and this is going to be a subject of debate. Some people, I know one person in particular that created a Go kit that literally weighs, how much does Ryan's Go kit weigh? The one that was, he requires a 1.5 ton truck to carry it. It is massive. They can send him to Mars, and he can be net control until the astronauts get there on the next supply mission, and he'll have all the battery power, he'll have all the radios, he'll have every capability that you can think of, he'll have every antenna, and that's his Go kit, right? Do I need that if I'm doing a...
Only if he can take his truck.
Oh, yeah, he has to take a truck. This is not something he's going to put on his back, right? So, ideally, your Go kit should be small and easily transportable. Modules should supplement each other, okay, with additional equipment to extend the capability and endurance. That means you're going to have a module for this, and if I need to take extra battery power, for example, then I'll take this bag here. If I need to have different types of antennas, then I'm going to have this bag here. The point is, you have all of these modularity things that you can put in a duffel bag, and now you're kind of creating your Go kit on the fly based on your needs, okay? So what does that do? One, it allows us to only take what we need, okay? And two, when it's small, it's going to be a lot easier to transport, okay? And when we're dealing with MCOMs, transportability is a big part of it. So Jason, KM4ACK, suggests that everyone should use this modular concept, and that is stick with the very basics and then add on. And I agree with them 100%. Let's talk about kits. We have a day pack. This is for something under 24 hours. This is something that's going to be just a couple hours long, right? Then the supplemental pack may include the 24-hour kit, okay, for an overnight assignment. Maybe you have 3 24-hour kits that you've made up. You take those for a 72-hour kit. Then we have specialty kits. We want to be able to fix our computer. We want to be able to do anything that we need to with the antenna. How about batteries? How about ways to regenerate power on our batteries? A lot of different ideas for specialty kits. How about a sleeping bag or a cot or a shade canopy? If you're pulling Ryan's Go kit around, you'll need a vehicle tool kit because he will be using his vehicle to take that around. An evacuation kit. We should all have an evacuation kit anyway. For each one of my kids growing up, we had backpacks that had a 72-hour kit for each one, including clothes and whatever else they needed for the season. If it was winter, I didn't have any shorts in there, right? They were long pants and long johns and that kind of stuff. I'm sorry. There's always the exception, okay? But anyway, everybody should have an evacuation kit anyway. So here's that one 72-hour personal go bag that I absolutely love. Each one of those bags represents something. There's the medical. I think we're going to go through each of these. Yeah, here's the common gear, the red bag, the first aid kit, things that you need for that. There's one with the provisions, MREs, hand sanitizer, ways to protect yourself as far as drinking water and sanitation. Tell me, by show of hands, who can tell me the #1 reason why, since Adam and Eve walked the earth, What's the number one cause of death? It's related to water. Who said cholera? Cholera. Dysentery and cholera. That has been the number one killer of humankind ever since man was walking on two legs, okay? People did not know how to clean the water. And it wasn't until the baby mortality rate was horrendous. But you can see on a graph when they started boiling water, when they started sanitizing the instruments, the mortality graph turned around, okay? And they go, you know what? There's something in this clean water that looks clean to me that is causing the illness, right? And so that's when they found out that boiling water is a good thing, right? So you need to be able to protect yourself when you're out on these events. There's the yellow bag. This is the individual, so this is things that you're going to be wearing. Okay, why he only has one roll of TP, I have no idea. If I know I'm going to go out on an event, guess how many rolls I have? And I don't tell anybody, first of all, okay? So I'm not going to tell you how much I have, okay? Yes, sir.
If you notice, some of the other kids also had toilet paper in them. I think he was just being redundant so that he knows.
I was going to bring that up, but thank you. Yes. How many people have heard 2 is 1, 1 is none? That is so true with TP, okay? I could tell you stories, but we don't have time. Okay, so we talked about modularity. Then there's portability. How portable is my Go kit? And so can it fit in a waist pack? And I saw this on Amazon. I go, yeah, I want that waist pack. But wait a second. I don't need to buy it at Amazon. I already have it. So let's go on. There's a backpack. There's a Pelican type cases. There's a lot of things that I am unwilling to spend money on, and one of them is a Pelican case. I'm willing to spend money on a Pelican type of case, okay? And so that's what I have here. I have a lot of Harbor Freight cases, okay? And if you can do the Pelican case, great. More power to you, okay? I can't afford it. But there's a lot of different sizes that you may have to do. Now we're getting into the realm of Ryan, where he has to literally use a cart that you see housekeeping use in hotels. It is literally that big on his Go kit, okay? You may need to do the same thing. I don't know. And field day, that's what my Go kit looks like, right? So you need to understand how you're going to carry it. The next thing is tested. Is everything that you have in your Go kit working? Okay? If it's not working, then you're carrying dead weight with you, right? What's a good way of seeing if you have everything in your Go kit and everything is working? Doing an event, field day. Even before you go out on an event, may I suggest you take your Go kit and you go outside to your backyard and do the event for as long as that event is going to be. Find out how many times you had to run inside. If you're running inside one time, then that's something you need to remember, right? So, but obviously, making sure everything is working and tested. So have you actually used everything in your Go kit, or did you just buy something on Amazon and you're going to go out in the field and say, okay, I'm going to set it up. I hope somebody knows how to do this. Okay? You need to make sure that you do that. Now's the time to find out if something doesn't work. So modularity, portability, is it tested? What's the next thing on the list? Organization. Now, with organization, the more organized you are, the better it is that you're going to remember to take everything, and that more importantly, when you're getting ready to come back, you know that you have everything. You're not leaving anything, okay? So that is very important. Here's a great, here's a waist pack, an HT of something that has been written down. Oh, by the way, make inventory sheets, okay? so that you can check things off. And always do, most people have an inventory sheet of the name of the, like a box or something where you go, okay, I have that. I have 2 columns. 1, I have it in my pack, and 2, I now have it because I'm taking an inventory when I come home. Okay? So I need to see check marks on both sides. And I'm actually doing the check marks as I'm packing up at the event. Okay? There's our duffel bag. Now, Jason, KM4ACK, he has this checklist generator that I absolutely love. And it is what? Well, I won't go back to it. It is something that these slides will be made available to everybody anyway, so go to Jason and take a look at the presentation on creating a checklist, a great way of doing exactly that, making sure that you keep an inventory. Okay, so that's organized, and the last one is understood. You would think that you know how to program your radios that are in your Go Kit. It's amazing how many people don't. So what's wrong? On my HT Go Kit, I have my operator instructions that I downloaded and I printed it really small so I don't have to take the original manual. And I have this as a reference, okay, in case I need to use it. But let me tell you a trick. Now, remember, you've heard this here, okay? So this is why you're going to be the smartest people in the room when we leave this place. Here's the tip, and that is, when you buy a new radio, or even the existing radio, if you have 300 frequencies and repeaters that you want to input in there, don't look at the computer. No. Manually do it by hand. Every time I buy a new radio, I don't care if I already have the config file to download all 700 frequencies in there. I always, without exception, program the first 100 by hand. Okay? Why do I do that? Yes, I have a low IQ. I know it's there, and I know how to do it. Yeah. Let me tell you a quick, I got to hurry up. Yes, sir. Have you tried that with the Bofang? Bofangs are the easiest things to program. I've literally 1,000 Baofangs I've programmed. Talk to me after. Okay. Here's the deal. So because I do that, I don't have to have the manual on any radio that I have. I have it just in case, because sometimes I have to look at an option that I don't use or I did not program before, okay? So I admit it, sometimes I have to look in the instruction booklet, okay? Who knew? But I went, anybody from Tooele County? Oh, okay. I got to be careful. Okay. So I'm the only Salt Lake County Aries guy that was invited to a Tooele County Aries event. This happened a number of years ago, probably before you were born, okay? So it's okay. And I went to the EOC, and there was like 8 of us that were stationed in the EOC. I'm the only Salt Lake, I'm the outsider, and all these guys are Tooele County. And so they go, and they had a really nice ICOM HF rig. I absolutely love it. If you look at their EOC building, you see a beautiful antenna set up there, absolutely great. But they had this ICOM 880 VHF UHF radio, and they needed to program a couple of simplex frequencies and a repeater frequency in there. Nobody knew how to do it. Turns out I have an 880, and I have already programmed that at least 100 times. And so guess who programmed the Tooele County? So, and I don't mean, that's a case in point why doing that comes in handy, because you don't know when you're going to use that skill, okay? We had a great laugh during that event. Okay, so here's something else that I do. Every Go kit that I have, I print out and laminate all the frequencies channel, okay? So that I can't remember if it's channel 128 or 138 if a particular repeater is there. So I can take a look at it. So I don't have to go down and do it that way. This has saved so many hours doing pecking, searching for frequencies, because I may already have it in my radio, okay? And so may I suggest that you do that, and I have that with every Go kit. This is my HT frequencies. It's just something that I do. When I buy a new radio, a new load, I print it out. And now, Salt Lake County, we have a standard load. So we have a group of frequencies that are standard within the county. I don't know what Tooele or Utah County has or anybody else. I do know that Salt Lake County, we all have the same load. When I say go to channel 78, everybody knows we're going to hit the whatever, insert repeater name here, okay, the 6.2 repeater, right? So anyway, creating these laminated sheets are very, very convenient. So here's a couple of suggested handheld go bag that you may have in there, that you have in your go bag. Your radio, your regeneration power, the tools that you might need. Also, how many people have their, I'm sorry? Yes, sir.
I was just going to mention that one of the things that I've done on your radio when you program it, if you have two channels, you can have one display the frequency and the other display the name. And then when you go to channel 100, what's ever saved, and you go to 100 on A and B, then you see both.
Right. That's a good way of doing it. My FT65, it's the only radio that I've seen do that. It's a dual band sort of radio. It's a pseudo dual band. It's only one band at a time, right? But it'll do 70 centimeter and 2 meter. But one thing that you can do with the display is it'll have the alpha on top and the frequency on the bottom. And I've never seen another radio do that, but I absolutely like that. And any radio that has dual displays, that's a common thing that I see all the time. So that certainly helps. Okay, so how many people have their ham radio license in their pocket right now? Excellent. That should go in your Go kit. A copy should go in each Go kit, okay, with all your other documents. So here's a sample Baofeng radio Go kit you could do. Here's one of mine with the Yaesu VX6R. There's other things that you can put in your Go kit just so that you have everything all together. Now here's something else, a jump drive. Every Salt Lake County ARES member has a Salt Lake County ARES drive that has the standard load, that has maps for the Safe Neighborhood program that's now been defunct, that's changed, that has a lot of resources, okay, including every single manual of every single radio that everybody in the county has, okay, and they're on these flash drives. So I keep that with me at all times, okay. Every Go kit has one of those. You never know when you're going to need it, right? Okay, yeah, we talked about all that there. Now here's a couple of Go kits that I found that, again, I love watching YouTube. I've spent hundreds of hours on YouTube, and I glean information from those guys. I love this one here. This is a Baofeng radio with like a 20-watt amplifier, okay? And with the mag mount antenna, and you know, I think that's a cool design. You know, you could put a battery in there or not. You could have an input for battery. You'll see Go kits that have the works, okay? Very, very impressive. A lot of different ideas. So what I like to do, and this is the reason why I go to YouTube, I don't necessarily want to know how they made it. I want to know what their purpose was. And this particular gentleman, he wanted to be able to run the radio inside the ammo can, and you could see the SL239 connector right there, so the antenna was right there. But if he was stationed somewhere, like this is if he was in a car. Now, if he's actually stationed somewhere, he takes it out and sets it right on, and now he's very easily looking at the radio. I think that's a brilliant idea. That's the type of thing that I like to see because it gives me ideas on what to do. Don't forget your HTs. Now, I have lots of HTs. I have lots of Baofeng HTs. I have a Go kit. Oh, there it is right there. That has nothing but Baofeng HTs that I'll take with me at an event. And if someone forgets their radio, guess what I'm willing to give them? I'm not going to give them my XTS 5000 radio that costs $5,000. No, I'm going to give them a $25 radio, right? I don't care if it comes back. Here's my first SAG Go kit. This is what I put. I actually decided to, you know what, I like what that guy did where he was able to use the Go kit in a SAG vehicle. And this is what I'm thinking. And so I built one just for that. And so this is what I use when I'm actually with a ride director or something. When I'm in a vehicle with somebody, I use this Go kit. This was my first one. In my club, the Marine Amateur Radio Club, we spent a number of weeks building our own Go kits, right? And that was kind of patterned after that Utah SAG one. So Steve, KG7GIT, that's his. Another fellow hammer in my club, Rick, this is one of his first HF Go kits. Jerry's Go kit, he has a lot of great ideas. I love watching what other people do. So here is my Go kit after spending all the time in front of a TV and listening to whatever other people are doing, going to events, seeing what other people are doing with their Go kits. I came up with mine. And so people always ask me, well, how do you make it all fit? Okay, it's cool that you have a Go kit, but how did you do it, right? And so what I wanted to do, first of all, let me go back one page up. I was thinking outside the box. I wanted to create a Go kit that I used a battery case that would fit any Go kit that I have. So this battery case right here, it has a big old cable that plugs into every Go kit that I make. I use this single battery, which means that when it's time to replace the battery, I don't have to go to every single Go kit. I have one place that I go to, okay? And which means that I can put a bigger battery in there. And so what I've done is I've actually created another battery kit to, to run all my radios. And so let's go back to the question, how did I make it all fit? Well, I grew up running CAD, computer-aided design, and so I did all my stuff within CAD. And so here's just an example of things that I've done here. I believe in measuring twice and cutting once, and I can do that with CAD. I can make everything fit in the box, including the degree that I want to do to make it all fit. And so even the bolt placement was done on CAD. And so I had this done before I cut one piece of anything for my Go kit. Okay, so plan it out first. And of course, there it is in its finished form. Now, I put the SO239 connectors on the outside of the Go kit. How many people can think of a reason why I would do that? I've seen a lot of SO239 connectors or BNC connectors inside of the Go kit. Better. Oh, how many people have been into an event when it's not 80 degrees and sunshiny, right? It could be anything, right? And so I want to be able to protect my expensive gear and not have to unscrew the antennas. Okay, so that's why I put the connectors on the outside. Now, when my HF Go kit, when I created that, I used Microsoft Visio. Not everybody has AutoCAD on their computer, but Visio, or for that matter, there's a lot of other free CAD designs or free CAD software online that you can do and create your own. Heck, use a piece of paper and draw it out, graph paper. You know, it doesn't take much. And so I do the same thing. I put everything together. This was version 1 of my HF Go kit, and there's the rear. Again, all this was done in Visio before I did anything. And I'm a stickler for keeping everything tidy, okay? I want to be able to troubleshoot it. It is hard troubleshooting it when you have a spaghetti mess of wires, okay? I do not like that. Some people, they don't mind. And so if that works for you, great. It doesn't work for me. So there you go. So here's the deal. It's your turn. Start out simple. Use the KISS method. Keep it simple. Use what you already have. It doesn't have to be expensive, okay? Ask for guidance. There's no reason why you can't ask an Elmer or ask for someone else to help out. Think outside the box. Don't think you have to do it a certain way, okay? Get ideas from other Go kits. And heck, this is your kit, so don't compare your kits to any others because this kit is yours, okay? And it should fulfill your purpose. Most importantly, have fun. And there's a lot of resources. Email me with any questions you have. I love to answer emails. If you want a PDF of this presentation, I know you can have it downloaded anyway, but you can go ahead and not wait for Utah Digital Communications Conference to put it out there. Email me and I'll send it to you, okay? And thank you. Any fleeting questions? We still have a few minutes before we are done. Yes, sir. Okay, so the question was, what about power poles? Thank you for being observant. That's one thing I liked about Twila. They were very observant. Okay. Even though they didn't know how to program their radios, they were observant that they didn't know. Dan, we don't know. Okay, sorry. That is such a great story. Okay, so I built another battery box, okay? That battery box does nothing except use power poles. I converted everything to power poles. I'm keeping my original box here because that works on a couple of Go kits, but I also have the ability, I have an adapter that it comes from this 30 amp to power poles, okay? So I can use power poles anywhere I go. So that's a great question. Power poles are the bomb, very, very convenient to use. Why is there a what?
Why do you have the red jumper going between the top and bottom screws on the back instead of just one side?
I'm not sure I understand what do you mean.
So on your top and bottom screws on your bulkhead mount,
Oh, yeah?
there's a red jumper between them.
Oh, okay. I'm kind of anal that way. I only needed one to connect to the panel on the other side, but I just made a loop because I thought it looked cool. That's the only reason. I'm not going to give you a scientific answer, but that's the only reason why I did it, okay? And all I know is it works great. So, any other questions? All right. You can come and take a look here, ask me questions on the side if you'd like, and I guess everybody's free to go home. I guess there's a meeting